right, chat. Everything's working perfectly. The buttons have been clicked. I hope everything works a little bit better. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to make my alerts actually work properly. So, apologies if things may end up a little bit weird. But yeah, I gotta say, today, dude, Vesper 77, I think is awesome. First of all, I think it's a really cool weapon. But yeah, you know, I always try to do my testing with just like no buffs or anything. Just run around a conjunction for a little bit, so you'll kind of see it. But I will be using actual normal frames because, of course, excuse me, Lavos Prime is here. Lavos Prime is a lot higher than Jade. It's not really articulated, but so Lavos Prime now just has to be used enough that he's above Ivara, and then essentially it's chill from there. So not gonna talk too much about that, but that does mean that, yeah, we're just gonna roll in with Corvax. I was like, yeah, I mean, it shows up. I mean, I can mention why the other two are left at the bottom, but I do think Corvax is a pretty good buff. Like lining them up, you know, stripping their armor, giving them damage vulnerability. Like, I do think all of that, I think all of that is kind of nice, I guess is what I would say. But yeah, I mean, the main thing is that the Augment, I don't know, 300% gas damage is the main thing. Like, if I get the, yeah, but you know, I'm trying to use some other status because I just like having that much status chance. Like, it is a pretty insane buff, but I don't know if it means damage and status chance, like the same thing as this guy, but it might give. Maybe I do some Googling. Maybe I do some cursory Googling. Give me one sec, chat. Should we figure it out? Should we look into it? Because, you know, my assumption was always, what is it called? Leaded gas? It was always that it was like you give the status chances in the gas damage will, oh, and status chance. Okay, yeah, it does give. Okay, so it does give status chance. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I like that. That's obviously what I hoped it and intended it to be used for. So, I gotta click one more thing, but yeah, I gotta say, man, I think it's a very fun weapon. What I will say is, like, do I think it's the worst weapon in the world? Like, absolutely not. Am I actually thinking about adding it to the randomizer and like using it regularly? Probably not as well. I don't know, like it was like at a margin, but the thing is, it'll always just have 8 shots in the mag and it'll have a 1.8 second reload speed. It'll just always have that. So I was getting Merciless in there, you know, getting a little bit quicker reload, but that's it in terms of like buffs. And I will say, I can say like pretty concrete, like, I don't think you should buy a Riven for the Vespers. I actually was like, I kind of just used Frostbite and I just liked it more. You know, this is not the most ideal Riven. It is just, the point is to save that cold mod so I can keep in Prime Heated Charge, which is, I think, pretty important. Obviously, Prime Heated Charge is 165 on top of Frostbite, which is 60. So that's putting you at, what, 225? Wait, no. 160. Yeah, no, that's right. No, that's right. So, 225 versus 300 gas. So it's like, yeah, it's not, you're still proccing a lot of gas, but the goal is to at least benefit a little bit from the status chance as well as the gas damage. So, I do just love that this is just a pistol that does a shit ton of damage. And you can put blast on it, and then the blast does a shit ton of damage, and then you have the gas damage as well. I don't think the gas is like too crazy. You can talk about like adding status effects for, you know, certain builds and other stuff, but you know, I was thinking potentially what you could do is this secondary worth the grind? I would say Probably not. I'm not thinking about using this as a main, like I'm not adding this to my list of like qualified pistols, like pistols that are worthy of being swapped between, you know what I mean? It's like kind of a, that's what I said, like it'll always have a mag size of 8 and it'll have a base reload speed of 2.3 seconds. So I mean, it's all about sniping the heads, but yeah, it's a 6-second buff on leaded gas, so you do have to land headshots constantly. So if you can get access to the augment, very good. Do I think the pistol is very fun though? Yes. Can it one tap to the head? I would say probably trash mobs. That's the ideal setup. Is like you're probably not one tapping a Thrax, but you can maybe 2 or 3, but. Yeah, that's my thing, is like it was at a margin where I was like, I don't know if it has the level of power that I need. But the idea with this pistol is, yeah, obviously dome somebody in the face, proc the blast, kill them instantly, clear the blast deals damage to other enemies, and then you just do that down the line. And so it adds a level of like, you know, obviously like a lot of these weapons, you know, have to have certain amounts of like single target DPS. Obviously some weapons suffer a little bit in the single target department, but generally if I'm using especially a projectile weapon, you know, primary or secondary, I need it to be able to, you know, tap a Thrax in a cascade and then be able to clear everything out and just kind of be a, not necessarily like a hard swap, but just know that they have to have a certain level of power. So, you know, if you can manage the 8 magazine size and the, you know, pretty long ass reload time, so it's kind of rough, but yeah, it does a lot of damage, and you'll see that if I can land some good shots, then I'll be able to like nuke. I'm just also going to mention the Corvex build. We're probably not going to use these weapons. Oh, I need to swap to a correct melee weapon. Scroll all the way to, oh, a bonk fluence. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about Corvex. This guy has 1 Tauforged Red for ability strength, which is, I mean, Tauforged Reds I feel like are never necessary. They're always welcome, but you know, just two Tauforged on here. And then this is effectiveness on energy orb. So this is a weird one that I use on a lot of builds. I mean, it's just, you know, built-in energy efficiency. So yeah, the main thing that you just pretty much need is Wrecking Wall, and that's kind of what I'm spamming like crazy. I am using Omamori, which, you know, you have a lot of base survivability, then you can kind of, you know, it's a 50% chance to give you a damage gate for half a second and then go on a 3-second cooldown. So it's a pretty powerful ability. And yeah, there's a guy on TikTok that I've been watching, and he just streams level cap Void Cascade all day. And then most of the time it's solo, sometimes with a couple people, but I'm like, that's the fucking grind right there. And he's uploading videos about like, okay, here's my mag stuff. And yeah, I saw, you know, people have been using this a lot because it is just like a secondary damage gate that just has a 50% chance of triggering. And then yeah, you'll manage the cooldown of Omamori with another level of survivability generally. You know, most frames always have something, but you know, this guy is nice to be a little bit of a health tank, but you'll kind of see it. But yeah, I will say it's weird, you know, Stand United puts me, it's a weird, should I show you? 875 and then where is this guy? Stand United. All right, here we go. It's a lot of armor. I was surprised. I was like, wow, that's a pretty good margin. I'll take a decent buff. 78% damage reduction. You'll add adaptation on top of that, so you know, anything that's like a mosquito that's just shooting you a bunch, you know, it's gonna be pretty much worthless. But yeah, you're just spamming wall, that's it. So I'm just gonna run around spamming wall, that's it. So we'll see how much of a buff it is, but I did see it was an alchemy, so I don't really know how good I'm gonna be. I should mention the bonk fluence. I may be spamming it a little bit, but this is just a lot of electricity damage and a lot of status chance. Melee prowess, galvanized reflex, excuse me, galvanized reflex is giving you 4 stacks of weeping wound. It's putting you at 5 times, which is technically 4 stacks. I finally got my Archoplasmor, but I am seeing they are not using base damage on the build. Yeah, I know that some people do that. Like they'll use Merciless to function as the base damage, and then they can put faction damage as a mod. So I know some people have that set up where, you know, you're trying to avoid double dipping. Like some people don't, you know, they try to avoid using, you know, damage from Serration plus damage from, you know, primary Merciless or primary Deadhead. You know, you kind of get the idea where it is kind of an interesting route to go down, but, you know, unfortunately, I'm a guy who likes to double down a little bit, so you'll see it sometimes. And I always just mention it in my videos that, like, yeah, if you ever see me using a damage mod, yeah, you just put a faction mod there, and that's just functioning the same. So I know that some setups are different, but you know, generally I guess that's the basic idea. But yeah, I mean, this guy you're just bonking like crazy. So this is 160 from 4 stacks of Galvanized Reflex, and Galvanized Elementalist is 120 status chance. So you're just getting a shit ton of status chance, and you can kind of just run around like a, I mean, it is caveman. It is straight caveman gameplay. So you kind of just have to watch it and see how it plays. So I will say the other nice thing is that Galvanized Reflex is giving you 50% heavy attack efficiency, and Focus Energy is giving you another 40. So you're at 90%, so you can actually just spam bonk. Like, all you do is just heavy slam. Any dread build? Yeah, I can show the dread. Yeah, the dread's sick. I've been thinking about reworking the dread build, because I know it like deals a lot of damage. Where is this guy? Oh, I know he's like right below here. Yeah. I can show the dread build real quick. I feel like this one. So what do you have? Status chance or crit chance, status chance. That's not terrible. That would make it a pretty good spread. I do like the base 50% crit chance, so I did end up taking crit damage. I do like projectile speed as well. You know, you could go negative zoom is pretty nice. I will say, like, it's kind of interesting how projectile speed can like change how a weapon plays, but you know, we love that shit. And then finally, 100% damage to enemies below half health. Oh my god, I guess that was on Kunai. That was the last time I talked about that. So yeah, anyway, there's the upgrades, but yeah, what is this? This is just a cold mod. Yeah, this Riven is kind of, I don't know how old this Riven is, but this is just a cold mod. I've been thinking about taking advantage of, you know, on bows like this. I have actually been thinking about taking advantage of, you know, built-in heat damage. So, you know, if I talk about my Paris Incarnon, it's just like it procs so much status that you just have what is it? It was like, it ended up being like guaranteed 3 stacks of fire, and then it was like most of the time it was also 4. So it was like a little bit weird. It was fun to like revisit some weapons and like test them out. But yeah, this one is the crazy one, and you have to build around this, so it makes you invisible. So if you can keep it going, then it's very good. But the secret is, of course, split flights. So it becomes a lot easier to proc headshots on a really wide arrow. You know, it's a very interesting Incarnon. But yeah, I don't necessarily think you need to put on viral. I think you could probably take better advantage. Like, this weapon does so much damage that, like, if you replace this with a fire damage mod, like if I put in what is it, thermite rounds, if I put in fire, then I get like a shit ton of blast damage, and then now that is a damaging status effect that is just going to get an absurd buff from like longbow, sharp shot, and like all this stuff. And I don't know, man. It's a little bit criminal, but yeah, it's not even the craziest Riven, but it's got some weird stats where like you could do this and then suddenly, you know, you're proccing a blast proc that, you know, is going to get cleared instantly because the enemy's going to die, and so you can just nuke them. So you know, I love fire, I love blasts, but you know, you'd swap out a single mod, and then in that case you might be better off going with like something like primary crux. But if you go over here, 38% chance to proc blast, so it's not a terrible chance to proc blast, but you get the idea. Like, generally with a weapon that deals this much damage and is just capable of putting out so much damage, like you will get a lot of mileage out of like stuff like hunter munitions and like just being able to max out with a bunch of different buffs. And you know, we on this channel we do love damaging status effects. It is primarily for me fire, slash, and blast that I just use on like way too many setups. So you'll see that a lot on my setups. But you know, it's a simple change that, you know, this weapon is already very easy to like nuke crowds and stuff. So now you can make it even stronger, and I don't have to change my ribbon. So you know, you could max out a little bit. I will say part of what I love is that you can potentially get like an absurd damage slash proc. It mentioned also Nadaruk as well. I have Nadaruk pretty high. I just finished the tier list. Where is this guy? He's way higher. Yeah, he's right here. Here, I'll show it real quick. I think it's the same setup. Yeah, here we go. Same setup. Perfect shot. Yeah, it's way lower crit damage, but you know, this is primary crux. This guy's got 80% status, so that's actually a lot of status. So, you know, it's kind of got me thinking about using that other stuff. But I will say the Dread Incarnon is pretty strong. But yeah, they're essentially, well, this guy is different because the projectile is a lot smaller. And you can't use split flights. You can only use galvanized chambers. So they made sure you can't even equip split flights. So split flights works on Incarnon bows, but it does not work on Nadaruk. So that's a drastic difference. Like, don't want to get too distracted, but yeah, I'm in need of that arcane. Any suggestions on farming it? Play a lot of survival missions or exterminate missions and complete your 1999 standing. I've always said that, like, for me, I'm one of the most beneficial things that I've gotten from getting to like max mastery is you have this insane daily standing cap. You know, 30,000 plus for me. Once you get over the 30,000 mark, you're in the zone, dude. You're like god tier at that point. So I will say it is a lot of farming. It took me a week or two, but I ended up, because of just the RNG and stuff, I ended up farming all of them basically all at once, and then I had to buy, you know, a maybe 10 or 12 in total. But yeah, we need to play the Vesper 77. Sorry, I mean, appreciate everybody asking about builds and stuff, but we have to show this. We have to show this weapon off at 17 minutes in. So I'll put some gameplay. I'll put a time code for the gameplay. You guys can skip to it. For the people in the future, I always say I appreciate everybody who watches these streams in the future. I've been seeing, yeah, a lot of my streams have been getting some pretty good viewership after the fact. So I always appreciate it. I guess we can kind of get this guy started right off the bat. So, as always, chat, I have been playing with Lavos for so long that I've like forgot the value of energy orbs. So we'll have to see. We'll also have to see how good I am at landing headshots. So so far not doing terrible, but you're gonna feel the magazine size right away, and you're gonna feel the reload speed right away. So you just kind of watch. You'll see how I warm up a little bit. You gotta get in the groove, but you can definitely pop pretty easily. I will say I mean, I've been thinking about doing Mott survival, but I feel like I've always ended up doing is this Circulus, the level 180, excuse me, the level 180 conjunction, because, you know, it shows up as an Omnia, and obviously this is going to be easier as not as an Omnia, which is just fucking duh. But anyway. Yeah, the basic idea is just like, I think this weapon is very strong, but it has to have a little bit of downside. Is what I've, you know, kind of, I've been talking a lot. You know, I've been talking to Harsh in the Discord. I'm like, I feel like I've played so many different games where it's like, okay, I have to understand the strengths of a setup before I can really like understand like there's certain setups where, yeah, we were talking about Rhino, and I was like, I feel like the fact that you can get like hundreds of thousands of overguard, and then, you know, I gotta say, like the reinforcing stomp setup, I gotta say that shit's goated. I can't believe I never tried it, but yeah, that was so sick. So, you know, you can, instead of instead of having to recast your overguard because it's like getting popped and you're pretty low, you can just kind of keep it refreshed. And you know, if you're lucky and you hit 10 enemies, it refunds 4% overguard. Yeah, 4% of your iron skin or whatever you want to call it per enemy hit. So you hit 10 enemies, that's 40. That's 40% of your total overguard cap. So, I mean, I did a couple rounds in an Omnia, and I was getting like without the power strength buff, I got like it was generally like 300, maybe 350 was the low end if I really sucked. But I could get like, I landed in 800k, and that was obviously because I'm not using parasitic armor. I'm using the full loadout. You know, you kind of have to, but I gotta say, man, it was a lot of fun to be like, oh, I guess that is something that I just have built in, is that I'll always just take the weaknesses as they are and just be like, okay, well, I kind of understand where they're coming from like adding at least some level of I don't know, like restrictions or like downsides to these setups. Like, I like the idea that, yeah, this weapon does a shit ton of damage, and you can see I'm kind of tapping these guys, but I'm at 50% life support. We have 195 kills at 3 minutes, so you know, we're doing okay, but you know, we were slowing down. I do hope everybody's been kind of seeing it, that like, yeah, I think with specific setups you can do a lot of damage, you can nuke pretty well, but you know, I'll always say that like the built-in usability that these weapons have will kind of exist as it is. But all right, I realize I need to start using my energy more. I've hit the surplus. I have a feeling I may not even need prime flow. I don't know. Lavos and Hildren make me forget energy altogether, dude. Oh my god, I feel that. Oh, but yeah, the warm-up period where I have to land headshots and actually show the weapon off properly, I will say, I do lock in a little bit with the giant air quotes around that. Dude, I am in the Warframe TikTok algorithm. It's nice. It's cool to like see other like they know, like they feed me a lot of other creators because I like follow them and we become friends, and I feel like it's a lot of fun, man. Like shout out Max as always, you know, shout out all the friends that pop in every once in a while. But yeah, this is kind of what I live for. I get to just chill out and show some stuff off. I'm excited a lot to return to the tier list. I've done the list, gone through the setup. I'm bad at frame. Are you talking about you or? I feel it. I mean, I feel like modding in and of itself, just like explaining modding as a concept, can be a little confusing just from the get-go. Like, there's so much stuff where, yeah. No, I think what I'll say is, you know, I've been wanting to do a video about like, okay, here's your starter, here's what you're doing at the start, here's the mods that you kind of want to go for and stuff. I can only be level 145 Corpus. Oh, yeah, I feel that. So I don't know, like, what would I say is like a hallmark of my setup? So, I think a lot of my setups have, you know, some kind of buff. Like, whatever frame you're using has some kind of buff going for it. You know, it could be in different forms, but generally, like, a lot of my setups are running stuff like Arcane Avenger, you know, based on whatever Warframe. Obviously, there are specific things that are unique to each Warframe that you can't do. Toxin. So my choices are usually fire. I do use blast a lot, but I know there's a couple different setups that you want to go for, but I would say, yeah, so this is a good question. Like, what is something to like be testing against? And so I would say, like, you know, you have things like Elite Archimedia. You could do the just normal Deep Archimedia, but you know, you have these, you know, more difficult modes that you can kind of test out. Protea with Equilibrium and Molt Augmented. Yeah, so you should, I mean, you've got the fire damage from the thing. If you got the Archon mods, if you got Archon Vitality, obviously that's important. But yeah, I would say, like, you have a potential if you want to try, if you use the full Protea kit, then you can roll with some You can roll with some armor stripping from your abilities. Like you can definitely have some very fun setups where, you know, she's got a lot of different ways. I have 0 Archon mods, yeah. So that's the thing you can go for. That's a grind. I would say getting the galvanized mods is important. So if like you're doing the steel path, but I have her augment, yeah. I would say if you're doing the steel path, then you should also be doing some arbitrations. It's going to be important for you to get access to some galvanized mods. You have all the galvanized. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's. I guess I would have to just say like, you know, it can depend on what type of status you're using. It can depend on the weapons. Arbitrations are fun, yeah, and you can get a lot of good stuff from them. So, I will say, like, it can also kind of depend on the weapons you're using. Like, I think Protea has a lot of really strong buffs, but obviously you want to be able to complement it with a weapon that's like equally as strong and can function really well. So. I just have a lot of fun with these different setups, and you know, it's nice to use the Vesper a little bit in a situation that's, hey, it's actually kind of putting in work. It's slowing down a little bit. We're at 450 and we're at 8 minutes, so you know, I don't think it's the worst weapon in the world. In the end, you may eventually get access to it, but I'm not out here telling you to spam it like crazy. But I think the general takeaway for me is like I enjoy weapons like this because they have like this upper echelon that you may potentially have access to, you know, and that can end up being frame dependent. Like you can roll up with, obviously people will be like, use it with sight 09, and I'm like, say less. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like there's always a lot of ways to take a weapon like this that I think has a lot of innate power, and you can kind of see like I'm not doing terrible against these guys. Like, I'm kind of keeping up. But, you know, obviously there's different ways that you can go about it. But, I don't know. I have so much fun with these setups. So I do think that if you get, like, the more you play it, the more you get comfortable with it. I don't have sight yet. I like the Lex Incarnon. Yeah, dude, that's good. Do you have... So the Lex Incarnon is a fun one. The Lex Incarnon has a guaranteed impact proc, so you can use internal bleeding. Should I just wait? No, I already got 8. I'm out of here. I already got both of the spawns. I'm chilling, dude. Yeah, so I hope that was a good showcase. I mean, the gist of it is just like, I think it is a very strong weapon. But I've just felt that, like, you know, I think depending on what your setup may be, it may be more maxed out, it may be less, but I definitely enjoy that a lot of this game will have the ability to like incentivize and like power up these types of weapons that, while they don't necessarily have the greatest, you know, gray area, I do think they have a level of like built-in power where I'm like, yeah, you could roll in with Goss, you could roll in with Harrow, you know, something that's gonna make you reload like crazy. You can dump like a madman, so I definitely think you can spam it. I just got Lavos, so I'm just winging his kit. I don't know how he works. Oh, dude, Lavos is a special one. Obviously we get used to pressing 4 and then pressing 3 right after, just doing the little transmutation probe. But yeah, this is kind of my point, is like, I was glad that I got the Wrecking Wall because it did give a buff, but yeah, I still think the Vesper 77 is a very strong weapon. Like I hope that the takeaway for everybody, I hope I'm doing a good job. Like, do I think it's not usable at all? No, but by all means, no. I felt like I was actually doing a pretty good job, you know, all things considered, but I was glad to have a big buff from Wrecking Wall, but no, I think you could get one good synergy going and you would probably be maxed out. But I would say that like the usability factor of just like 8 shots in the mag and a 1.8 second reload speed will kind of get you a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna swap to Kunai and Incarnon. I guess I did use the Javlock and I did use Korvax, so I don't know if the same... Oh my god, this is crazy. I don't know if the same setups are available, but yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. I will say This is the first time in a long time that I haven't played. Oh, I don't have the Kunai Incarnon. The Kunai Incarnon is... That's an Amar weapon. That's an Amar-ass weapon. You know what I mean? That's a weapon where I'm like, hear me out, chat. Like, wait a minute. Let me let you in on a little secret. And I make a title and thumbnail about it, and everybody rolls their eyes for the 50th time. Oh God, here he goes again. So that's an Amar-ass weapon. That's a weapon where I'm like... I just thought, like, wait a minute, I think I could make it work. And I made it work, so it's a very fun weapon. Can I see your stats for your Warframe and your mods?
Check navigation.
Oh, for Citrine or for the other one? Yeah, we'll go through this setup. So this is what we're going to be using in the next mission. It is nice to return to the Tenet Flux rifle. Chat. Anyway, don't get too distracted. Let's start off with Citrine. This is... same as before, the thing that I have on everything. Citrine was fed to the nurse. Oh, dude, I feel it. That's how it goes, man. And you gotta farm another one. I feel it. I need to get a jade part. Oh my God. I think about it every single day. I need more corrupted holo keys. I'm doing omnias all the time. It never ends. Even this late in the game, you're always doing something, man. But yeah, 225 shield capacity is not necessary, but it's a nicer margin. You get 100 shield regen a second, so yeah, I guess part of it is I do actually now use her full kit. I try to spam recrystallize. I don't have the hugest range. I have some pretty decent stats, but it's not the craziest stats in the world. Because this is just, you're not getting crazy margins. And I do like that it's going to give you a 30-meter range. So basically, you shoot the crystals, and then they spread like the sarin spores. Trying to get my next sister part about 6 capture missions. Yago, dude. I've been there, bro. I've been there. You can trust me on that. Nobody feels you more. No, there's getting your sister and then getting another sister because you chose the wrong element. I will say when the element changing thing happens, I'm still gonna farm if I need to change my element with a lich, because I'm saving it for the shops, bro. Having to like show up to Ergo Glast and be like, hey, do you have the right Tenet Ferox? I need to do a tier list. I'm supposed to do a tier list in like 3 weeks or something. And I need to be able to show the Tenet Ferox with the correct valence. Can you not fuck me? And unfortunately, I have not been lucky. So we'll see how it goes. I may not be able to show it off, but you can imagine it in your mind. But what is the setup besides keeping your fucking 3 active? That's kind of it. You have a damage reduction that like applies to your whole squad. It's crazy. And then you can spawn like zillions of orbs, like so many orbs. It's crazy. It's an absurd support. Like you should be hitting every enemy on the map with Fractured Blast all the time. You should literally never stop spamming this ability. I can't say this enough. I do have Impetus in here as well, so I'm getting a nice amount of strength and efficiency as well, so I can spam my 4 because I have 180 energy. But I have infinite orbs, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna fill the playing field with orbs. That's all you're gonna see. It's gonna lag the shit out of my game. All right, I'm gonna kill the Prophet Taker. Yeah, dude. Oh, I feel it. Yeah, I'm crafting my second jade. Yeah, I feel it. I need that. What is it? The Ophanim eyes. I need that shit, dude. But yeah, I think we're ready. That's the setup. It is just double shield regen plus Arcane Aegis, so it's got some base survivability on top of having 90% DR, so that's a game changer. But yeah, we got to keep moving. We're going to be playing a lot of Kunai, so I'll show it off right away. So, a lot of shield regen with built-in damage reduction is very powerful. Kunai, look at this. 200% damage to enemies below half health. I'm not using channeled abilities. Base magazine capacity, that's just for charging. This thing actually homes in on people's heads, and it shoots 2 bullets for one. It's got innate 2 multi-shot. It homes in on heads. And so I have blast on it, and you kind of watch and see how it plays. But yeah, base magazine capacity makes it easier to charge. And then the final one, the one that you have to take, the one that's forced on you, because these ones are fucking weird. Crit chance, status chance. I mean, and that's very important. You got to be real, because you come down here. 52% status chance, 36% chance for blast, with a 5.5 multi-shot, and then you're going to add 1.2 onto that. This is also galvanized shot, so, you know, depending on how many status effects are on each enemy, when the blast goes off, or when the blast tick is applied, then you'll have a bigger blast proc. So it is going to home in on heads, so you are going to put in, on precision head, you're going to get secondary dead head. You gotta do it when you can, so... I do like mostly just the 24-second timer. Like, I just like that it stays active longer. I really need to max out my mods. Yeah, you know, maxing out your mods is like crucial, and it makes everything cost so much. Like, this is a low forma, 5 forma on a pistol. That's pretty low. Next up we should talk about is Tenet Flux rifle. This is a crazy one. Yeah, multi-shot crit damage, crit chance. 91% crit chance with a fire rate of 21 when enemies, or when my little dude is alive. I think there was a bug that just fell. Oh, it's a little gnat that's like flying around my room. But yeah, it's just also blast. So it's a laser. You can just think of it as a laser. So it's a laser that now has blast damage. So also I got the Ekhein too, made it a heavy hitter too. Almost 100 million on heavy tech, yeah. The bonk build on Ekhein is so goofy. It's insanely silly. But yeah, this is a fun one. This is a fucking weird weapon. Valence is, of course, heat, so that I can snag in primed cryo rounds and just do a zillion damage. So that is only affecting the bullet, but you'll kind of see. I could level 300 acolytes. Oh, dude. That's fucking gaming. Yeah, that's the setup. I love that shit. The bonk is life. And yeah, if you can do the influence setup, or you can just do the single target bonk and just make them go bye-bye. So this is the influence setup. This is bonk fluence, of course. I said it many times. I've talked about it many times. But yeah, same setup as before. I know you can potentially swap what is it, seismic wave for prime pressure point, and it does give more damage. So I think this, I don't know how it calculates. I haven't tested it, but I have a feeling that seismic wave over prime pressure point, because I know that if you have both, then it works. Then that's what you really want, is you want both. But it is more slam damage, so I'm curious to know. Maybe I should try it. Maybe I should just see, and then we'll get a feel for it pretty quick. So we'll just test it out and see what it's like. So it does mean that the weapon itself does 0 damage, but I don't really think that matters. I don't really think I'm swinging the weapon. So is that the full loadout? That was pretty good, pretty quick. I did melee animosity with the heavy attack. Ash clones. Oh my god, dude, I kind of like that. But yeah, I think we talked about everything. Yeah, let's play Warframe. If you don't pay attention to me, I'm gonna actually doing. Oh my god, how long? I'm gonna be spamming a lot of Kunai Incarnon, but yeah, we'll see how the bonk does. What do I have here? Yeah, I have alchemy for 13 minutes. Oh my god. I have Ash, but he isn't prime. Ash is pretty strong. Ash has an augment for his invisibility called Smoke Shadow, which gives you crit chance. Oh fuck, I need to burn void traces. That's fine, we'll do it next time. Alright, let's scroll. Let's keep scrolling. We're starting to run out of relics, dude. I'm doing a pretty good job. I'm actually impressed with myself at how well I'm doing, because yeah, we have so many relics. Yeah, hey man, I've been like a weekly, you know, like I'm not necessarily, for my whole time playing Warframe, I haven't always been logging in every single day and doing stuff every single day. More and more I do that a lot. You have so many. Yeah bro, this is, and you can like learn things. So you can learn things about my relic in the same way that like a paleontologist learns about a fossil. You know what I mean? Like you can look at my relic list and be like, oh, when Korra Prime came out, this dude farmed like fucking 50 of them. Oh, shout out Gale for following. Appreciate it. If you were given to choose just one Warframe, which one would it be? I think it would have to be a buff frame. And but the question is like which one? I will say I will always have to mention Citrine, because Citrine has this ability that you can kind of maximize where, you know, Toxic Lash is a separate damage instance. Oh, did I actually do the... I don't think I did the thing. Oh no, I did do the thing. Oh, my Prismatic Gem is actually massively buffed, so... Yeah, I have a feeling that Seismic Wave may potentially be the way to go, but yeah. I will say a buff, and I have to do it. Citrine is my most used Warframe. And the idea, so basically what Citrine does is Toxic Lash is a separate damage instance, similar to how like a Decree works. Like if you get the Decree called Smoldering Strike, then that's just like a separate fire instance. So, you know, she can make it so that your bullet, or potentially not just your bullet, but you can, you know, what am I trying to say here? What's the setup that... Oh, it's blast procs. Yeah, that's right. So if you have a weapon that deals blast damage, then when the blast damage explodes, then it'll apply Toxic Lash again. It's crazy. Yeah, Nova hands down. Yeah, also a good choice. Yeah, and Nova is like... Yeah, Nova has an insane buff now. I will say... did I forget to keep my DR active? I will say the one thing that I always tell people is you generally have enough energy that you shouldn't feel worried about like multicasting your 4. Like if you need them to slow down for a little bit, generally I always keep them fast. I always have them moving at full speed. And then in like rare occasions, if I'm getting bogged down, I can like swap to slow and it'll slow all of them like crazy. And then you can kind of deal with them and then move on from there. So that's what my one note is. Like, I think Nova is super powerful because you can just like maximize the survival and stuff like that, or like maximize a farm if you're, you know, needing to farm whatever you're needing to farm. So it's like super powerful. Any gun primary Incarnon? What would I say? Honestly, probably I would say Strun Incarnon potentially. I love Paris Incarnon as well. There's a crazy setup that you can do. You can do this Split Flights primary Crux build where you proc like 4 stacks of... You proc like 3 or 4 stacks of fire in one bullet. Oh, it's nuts, man. You have so many Goss or Revenant. I would choose me Goss, Paris. Yeah, Paris Incarnon is... it's got a level of power, but here's the thing. The reason I mentioned it is because it does a zillion damage against a single target, but it also can wipe crowds like it's nothing, dude. Should I get a Ceramic Dagger, Bronco, Voltor? Ooh, definitely Lex. Ceramic Dagger is also very strong. If you don't have a stronger melee, then I think a Ceramic Dagger is an insane choice. But yeah, Lex Incarnon is one of the best pistols in the game. I need to look at my tier list and see where I put it, but I think I put it in like the top... I would hope I put it in the top 5, because I do think it's like way up there. I think it's a really, really fun weapon, and there is a secret that you can do. You know, it has a forced impact proc, so you can put on internal bleeding and really maximize. Oh, do I have any stacks? Can I even bonk this guy? Ooh, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy, dude. I can bonk that guy. Woo. Nice. Okay, we're chilling. Yeah, we got it handled. All right, just relax. Don't get too freaked. Okay. All right. We got to build up. We got to build up something. I do love spamming this weapon. This weapon is so much fun. The Tenet Flux Rifle is just one of those, you know, it's got that flair to it. It's got that vibe that you want. And you know, it's like shitty Bursting Incarnon. I don't want to call it that, but obviously it's like not, you know, the Bursting Incarnon functions kind of the same. So, you know, it's it's a crazy setup. It's very fun, but I do like the range. This is a pretty good range on the 3. I haven't even cast Crystallize. I have not felt the need to cast Crystallize. Like, I hate to say it, man. There are just certain situations like there's just not enough. There's not enough enemies on the playing field for me to like show this off properly. So it's just a little bit lame, but you got to be real. Maybe as the mission warms up, we'll get a little bit more lucky, but. Yeah, I will say, I guess I got my mustache squared away. Finally, I had to trim it back a little bit, but the nose continues to itch apparently, Chad. So, how do you build Saren? So there's a couple different ways that you can go. I know that the augment for her 1, like also increases the damage of Toxic Lash, but really I would just say Strength. Because it's just a buff, right? It's just a buff, so you just have a bunch of strength. My main melee is Azal, custom scythe from Citrine. Yeah, that's a good choice. Obviously, it's a scythe, so I think there's a stance called Reaping Spiral for scythes that has it has a force slash. I think it has either 1 or maybe a couple force slash procs. Oh, I threw the fucking orb. I swear to God, man. With the Incarnon and the throwing of the orb, I get fucked over every time. Yeah, Reaping Spiral is the GOAT. That's the easy choice. And then you can spam heavy attacks like crazy, and then use the Tenokai heavy attacks. It's a pretty standard setup for your boy. I've been recently trying to move all those weapons to like the top of my list, so they're out of the way, so I can just use nothing but these like silly ass, a bunch of bonk fluence weapons and dual swords and shit like that. So. You kind of see a pattern, but yeah, I need to recast my abilities and get all set up. So I think I let all that shit decay, yeah. And then I haven't cast this the entire game. Okay, perfect. Nice. And then you go in again. Okay, perfect. Oh, my boy died? No, I won't allow it. Okay, we gotta send them out of here. We gotta make sure they all pay, because I've been trying to change up the setup. I changed it up again. I just made him super survivable, because I also realized that the Verglass is just like a really strong status builder. Like, it's just so good at priming enemy. Like, you just pray that your little dude shoots the right enemy, and then yeah, they get like instant all the stacks that you need, and then that's kind of it, dude. But it's nice, 7 stacks of impetus. Oh, chat. I love Citrine. I should actually keep her abilities active, but it's nice. Like, you can see I end up being a little bit passive, but I love the idea that you can just get a shit ton of status chance and status duration, so try to keep the shit active. Hit that, nice and easy. Okay, back. Easy. Alright, chilling. Oh, he's down again. Don't worry, he's back. Alright. I will say, dude, you're gonna see it. If I'm doing 5 rounds of an alchemy, you're gonna see the enemies just like ebb and flow. I'm like, sometimes you need the spawns, and then like it feels like the spawns are like banked, and they're like, all right, here's all the spawns, and then well, that's it. Sorry, we ran out of spawns for you, and then you're blowing up these little pipes, and there's just not a single enemy on the playing field. You're like, what is going on? Like, how did we end up here? I get a little sad sometimes. Like, there are just specific missions where I'm like, I can handle a lot more spawns. Like, I feel like I might enjoy it. I do know that this kind of ramps up. It gets way more difficult after 4 rounds. Like, if you're going for endurance, then the next 4 rounds that you do are going to be a lot more ruthless than the first 4 that you just did. So what I will say is that yeah, there's a lot of Omnias, but none of them are Void Cascade, so you can be comfortable with all the Omnias. But I will say, like, getting comfortable with Void Cascade is kind of just a good refresher for just getting comfortable with everything, because it is just stressful, and there's a lot to manage. But especially doing it solo, I think is stressful. And I'm not even saying like going to level cap. I'm just saying playing it, doing it solo, doing it for like, yeah, maybe 5-10 rounds. When an Omnia shows up, like, practicing it a little bit. I think that's worth it. Like, I know it can be intimidating. It's very valuable, but maybe it's just intimidating for me, and I'm just speaking for myself. But yeah, I don't think you really need to do level cap cascade. I think it is just the hardest mode. It's the most stressful, and so you should just do it. One thing I like about alchemy is the elements. Yeah, it is sick. Like, it applies. Yeah, I don't really, in most cases, I either don't care or I'm like mad. I mean, most of the time it doesn't really matter because it's only like 100%. So usually I have a better weight towards whatever damage type I actually need to deal. So yeah, we're chilling. You can splash them with the canisters. Yeah, dude. It is a fun mode. I will give you that. Yeah, that's very true. All right. But yeah, first of all, I'm glad to be back. I did have like a scheduled family thing that I just completely forgot about, but you know, it was something that I had like agreed to, you know, not stream that day, so it wasn't like I was anything bad or anything. So, you know, it's just I had planned to take it off, and I wasn't, you know, I didn't say anything about it, but you know, I think potentially I might have to take next Monday off too. We're having to move my grandma into a care facility, so you know, I think potentially I'll have to see, but I'll know more information as the information comes in. So I'll let you know, and then, you know, if you go to YouTube, you can always see my upcoming streams. And so what I'll do is, like, on a Sunday, I'll go in and schedule all the streams for the week, so you can go in and see, you know, what my schedule looks like for that week. So, you know, no titles and thumbnails though, so it'll either have like a generic title, it'll just be like more Omnias or whatever, or it'll say, you know, if there is a topic, then you'll know ahead of time. So if you're ever curious, like, what I'm gonna be doing for the future streams, like, there's a tab on my channel that just is called upcoming live streams, and you can go in and see at least the title of like what's planned. But I think for the rest of the week, it's all just Omnias and stuff. I think we're just doing random. I have no plans to cover anything else this week. So I did figure out the setup. So I have the tier list down. So we're doing primaries first, and then, you know, it'll be a couple weeks from now. But we're gonna be doing secondaries next. So it's just going to be once a week. You'll get like one tier list a week. So kind of like this, where, you know, I'm going to talk about the Vesper on Monday, and then the rest of the streams you can just kind of like, it'll just be, the title is just whatever. The title is whatever the randomizer shows me, and we'll see if YouTube likes any of the titles. I will say, like, some of the previous streams, like, I really just think it is, you know, having Lavos Prime in the title is kind of all you need. But yeah, you end up with all these weird setups where all you have to do is put Lavos Prime and then whatever weapon you're using, and it's kind of all you need, I guess. But yeah, these enemies specifically, they will always just work so weird with headshots that it ends up pissing me off quite a bit. But yeah, so far not too terrible. I'm surprised I haven't died more, but we can kind of throw a bunch of orbs in and then be done with the mission. And if you're good, you can finish this mission very fast. I am not good, though. I am a Yapatron. That's all I do. That's all I ever do. But yeah, we're still set up. We're still good to go. So that is the trade-off, you know, and the really nice thing about the alchemy is that it is just so easy. Like, it's just not going to be stressful. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe you're doing an Elite Archimedia alchemy and potentially you get swamped. You know, there's a bunch of invincible enemies or something, so there are moments like that, but I don't ever think this mission, I don't think anyone would ever, I think this is always going to be at the bottom of the list in terms of, like, what is the hardest mission that I'm playing. Like, I'm glad, you know, when I talk about generally on Thursdays, and I'm thinking now on Fridays, well, we're doing a Friday stream, so obviously there's a dev stream on Friday, and you know, I didn't stream on Monday, so I'm going to give you guys a Friday stream. You're going to get a Friday stream on next week as well, but I think I am going to be playing Hades 2, so we're going to go in and play with at least. I think we'll have time to do 1 run. I don't think I'll have time for 2 runs, but yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, they released a big update. I had to get my practice in. I had to get my steps in and remember how to play that game. But I am back. I have to. I'm glad to say. I'm thankful to announce to everybody that your boy is back. He's got the Hades groove now. He's back in. Beat the game. Beat the overworld with all weapons. So you get a bunch of nightmare for that. So I had to snag that, and I almost maxed out all the different variants that I use. So I'm excited to do that. I keep coming back to it, man. You know, every time an update comes around, I get way too invested. I'm also just insanely good at fighting all the earlier bosses. There's a crazy final boss, but I'll leave that for next week to talk about. But yeah, that's gonna be a big week next week. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I think I might potentially hold off on the tier list until does this guy have a head? What is this? What is targeting? How do I target him? I'm thinking about it. Like, some of these guys, their heads are they up their asses? Is that the wrong way to phrase it? But you get what I mean. I just don't know where their head is. It's in the clouds, I guess, if I want to be nice. Oh, there's a zillion status effects. Oh, that's sick. So that's, I guess, just my companion and that's the crystal, and it's like, I don't know what percentage of the status effects that is, but I guess you just have to look at the row and look at how long the row is. But oh, I need to clear this out. I guess, yeah, this is the point when the enemies stop spawning. So apparently I'm just having too much fun killing necromechs and dealing status effects, and yeah, well, the mission needs to be played. Unfortunately, I have to run around and bonk, but I don't get to bonk enemies, which is, I don't want to be bonking for this. This is the wrong reason, you know? There's better things to be doing, and it is weird, right? It's eerie. There's nothing. There's a single dude just chilling here. You're like, wow, I guess just you, huh? Just you and me. It's weird. I mean, I killed him, but you know, it's one of this mission is just strange, man. Sometimes I need to scroll faster. Okay. No way. We're in the 2 stacks. Okay, that's gonna be way more scrolling. And then I just have the single radiance. I just have a bunch of single radiance. So, oh god, my future is gonna suffer, but I do just want to like clear out. I wanted to just clear out all the radiance, and then, you know, I guess I'll acquire some from like the Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. So I could do, you know, I still do single oxys from whatchamacallit. I do them in the Void Storms when I'm going into Railjack and I need Corrupted Holokeys. Like, I do enjoy that combo, which is very powerful, but yeah, there's definitely a few setups that there's too much stuff in this game. There's too much stuff for you to farm in this game, and you know, I'm doing a video on the Kuva Liches and the Sisters of Parvos. I should mention that as well. I'm doing a video about both because in the end, like, most of them are, like, most of the actual gameplay is like basically the same. You're still just putting in the Requiem mods and stabbing them, and you know, it ends up functioning essentially like the same gameplay loop. It's just that the summoning of each of them is worse. But I was like, I understand why people make 2 separate videos, but I just realized I was like, I'm gonna be saying the same stuff, like, so I felt like, okay, you know, we're gonna talk about the murmurs, and there was one note that I felt like I was nice to include, that, like, you know, I've done so many of these where I'm just always doing it solo regardless. So, you know, you start to notice a pattern of like, oh, you know, your Lich is always spawning at a specific time, and it always ends up being like right before, it's either like the mission that you complete your murmur, or it's like right before you complete your murmur, but you know, you just never get to see your murmur when your Lich spawns. That just kept happening to me, and I was like, what is going on? So, you know, in doing so many, I wish there was a stat. I really wanted to see like how many Liches and how many Sisters I've killed, but it may exist somewhere, but unfortunately I haven't found it yet. So, oh, you piece of shit. Alright, there you go. Easy, done. Nice and easy. Keep it moving. And now we can actually bonk a little bit better. But yeah, we're at 20 minutes, so you know, this little bonking session is still gonna take quite a while, so you do have to keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy this mission because it is just so, I don't know, it's got this like fucking Roblox, Minecraft, fucking pick up the orbs, throw them in the thingy, run around and bonk the pipes to keep the thing in the range. I love it. I don't know, like, and the fact that this is in Steel Pass circuits now, and you're like, they have a, you know, they're like, oh, we're releasing new Incarnons. I bonked that too early. Like, we're releasing new Incarnons. You're like, fuck. And then you do an alchemy in a circuit, and you're like, oh my god, what the hell? I gotta say, the like returning to circuit, I've thought about that more and more, just like returning to circuit eventually, and what that would look like. I feel like that would be so much fun to just do like an entire stream devoted to doing some Steel Pass circuits, and I think it would be pretty easy to just get like all 5 tiers, and I really just want the Kuva at this point. 25,000 Kuva, I don't think it's that hard to get 25,000 Kuva. I have a Kunai unrolled Riven if you want. No, I'm good. Do I have a Riven for Kunai? It would be, it would replace the cold mod. It would have to be like cold. That's not a bad idea. I'll buy it from you. Yeah, Dogcat. Yeah, join the Discord. Yeah, I'll buy it from you. 16 capture missions. Oh my fucking god. My boy's suffering. He's in the streets. He's in the fucking trenches, bro. Oh my god. Pray for Yago. Everybody's got to pour one out for Yago. Whew. Yeah, I'm excited for the dev stream. I mean, I would assume everybody's itching to see, like, you know, I wanted to put out the video about Kuva Liches and Sisters just like right now as soon as I could, and then, you know, have it available. And, you know, I don't know when the update will come out, but we should have a couple weeks before then. So it'll, you know, you'll have a video about the Liches and the Sisters, and then you'll probably see a video about, you know, the best way to do this kind of stuff and how you can kind of optimize it a little bit. So, you know, I've been thinking about doing that, and I am very curious to see if the same spawning rules, like if the same spawning mechanics are true, like if I have to also do what I have to do in a Lich mission, which is like the first time that the Lich spawns, I have to leave. I don't down it all. I just leave the mission and then ignore it the whole time, and it's so weird, but it ended up working for me, and I would guess the right code insanely fast, but please tell me that there's an UL mod. That's all I need, man. Or make it easier. I don't know which it'll be, but make it easier. I'm ready for it though. I want to see this boss fight. And the double boss fight, that's what I like. Like, give me that shit. Make these missions hard. Like, I'm ready to get fucked up. I want to see these weird dudes that are just gonna like show up and wreck my shit. I'm curious if like acolytes will spawn as well. I don't know if it's like a separate mission or I can just like do any mission. Or I would assume it's so. I don't want to get too distracted, but it's such a rabbit hole where I'm like, I have all these thoughts in my head, like, well, what if this happens, and like, how would it? Ooh! Oh, you felt that shot? You know what that is? That's the cold curse. Yeah, these little cold orbs. Apparently, it just nukes my PC for a split second. So every once in a while, it'll just fry everything. But we survive. It doesn't actually do any damage. It just freezes me to nothing, and then apparently I heal for 1400 HP. Holy shit, that's kind of nuts. Apparently I'm. Ooh, did I get double ability strength and I didn't even realize? Oh, that's good. Well, we love that, but yeah, you can kind of see this is Kunai Incarnon without a Riven. So I do think Kunai Incarnon is a great Riven candidate. So yeah, I'll buy it from you, man. You don't have to give it away for free. Yeah, I love unrolled. That's what I want. I want to get a perfect roll in like the first 5, and so I don't even hit the max cap. What the fuck? Oh god. Does this guy have? Oh, he's an Eximus. Okay, I'm starting to understand a little bit better. All right, he's cooked, and then this guy's hooked. All right, chilling. Oh, and it's just at the same point. I just have to hit it a little bit more. Ooh, that's goated. We saved it. This is how you do it. One more. Keep moving. All right, nice and easy. But dude, this is what I was hoping for. Like a nice return. I mean, returning with Citrine. Technically, I did play Corvex, but I feel like this is what you want, dude. This is easy. This is breezy. But yeah, we've got more rounds ahead of us. I think we're doing. Well, we should be doing one more round at least. I think we might have time for 2 more rounds. Ooh, there it is. Did you see that? Did you see these toxin effects? You're gonna pay attention to that. That's a sinister number. Those are variants of the Culverine and the Arkanoid that are elemental based. So this is what the Eximus look like. Pretty fucking scary. Pretty intimidating, but yeah, we're out of here. All right, keep moving. All right. Ooh, perfect timing too. Okay. And yeah, we'll do 5 more. We'll see what we get for the next roll. I don't think I ranked up the Kunai Incarnon very much, but all right. I am enjoying it, and I'm glad that, you know, we can get back to doing more of this. Like it's always fun that like the Kunai is close to being done, and this is the next pistol that I plan on ranking up. So, you know, when the whole Technocyte Coda weapon series comes out, like I am gonna be only playing those. That's gonna be it. Do you have a Vauban nuke build? Yeah, I can show off something. I just changed it recently. But it's mostly just power strength at this point. I do have a pretty high range because I do like the pull ability of Vauban. I do actually like keeping the vortex in, but I can show. I don't think it nukes the best, but I know that most people use him for a lot of people use him for the Flechette orb, the one that like scales with enemy level. So that was pretty crazy to find out, but yeah, I do enjoy Vauban. I think he's very strong. So yeah, here, let's show it. I just changed it around a little bit so that now I do have an armor strip, but it's pretty low power strength. So it's not like the craziest armor strip in the world. It's only 120, so you're kind of spamming pillage a lot to power strip or to armor strip, but yeah, it's just a lot of survivability. I do have Molt Augmented in here now to buff the armor strip and then also buff the damage of the the Flechette orb. So I know that, yeah, this just scales with enemy level, so you can just kind of like armor strip everything, and then, you know. But yeah, the 4 is mostly what I use. It pulls in enemies in a 26 meter radius, and it just locks them down on the vortex, so very strong. This is just like built-in survivability. Like, this is a little bit of passive that like is always active, and, you know, weird for me to use those 2 words, but yeah, there you go. Pretty quick, but, you know, just max range. Oh my god, Styanax. I'm excited to try this. I put on Omamori, and I want to see how it works with Overguard. I have not tested this yet. I made a point to just let it sit here and just have a test. Oh, fucking Secura Penta. What the hell? Oh, it didn't move. Unfortunate. Okay. All good. Let's see what we get for the melee. Okay. Good vibes. Ooh, the bow Incarnon. Oh my god. Okay. Let's do Styanax. I do have a casting speed shard. I do have an effectiveness on energy orbs. I do also have infinite energy with the 4, which is Intrepid Stand, which is the main ability. This is going to give you Overguard on your 4, and if you have casting speed, then you'll throw your spears faster, and you'll still throw the same number of spears. So pretty powerful. A shout out Mohim for following, or yeah, no, I got that right. You gained a follow. Yeah, I appreciate it. Shout out Cheeseball for sharing the live. I missed that as well, but thank you. But yeah, the fun part. Arcane Avenger and Boreal's Hatred. The reason for that, your passive gives you crit chance based on your actual shield amount. The amount of shields that you have. So if you either heal and get some free shields from Omamori, or you get shields from kills, it's all gonna give you a bunch of crit chance on top of Arcane Avenger. So this crit chance is like a mod, and Arcane Avenger is just flat. It's additive. So you just take whatever crit chance you end up with and you add 45. And so it is a double crit build. on top of Intrepid Stand, which is getting a little bit of a buff from Omamori, so you should potentially survive a few. You'll be invincible for a little bit of time. So it's interesting that Transient Fortitude reduces the amount of javelins, but it increases the amount of stuff that you regen. So you could potentially rock Blind Rage and have 75% efficiency, and then you would get more Overguard and also more javelins as well. So you could try that out. I'd be curious to see if that gives like a bunch more Overguard. But yeah, now it uses 125, so it's not actually a huge burden. But yeah, should we give it a shot? Should we make a little tiny modification and see how it works? But I do also like Axios Javelin. This is a grouping ability, so if you skewer an enemy with that javelin, then it will group all the enemies in 21 meters. So it's not terrible. You could go bigger, but I don't really need to. So we'll see how this works. It's nice to have Boreal's Hatred for a little bit of efficiency, but yeah, it's mostly just keep the Overguard active and get some free energy back. So I guess your energy rate goes up, so you can enjoy that a little bit. But yeah, I think we should be good to go. There's Styanax, so free Overguard is always insanely gamer, but you can spam that shit like crazy. Secura Penta, this is a weirdo. Toxin crit chance. So this is viral heat slash. So it'll create these little puddles on the ground. That's the basic idea, is that napalm grenades gives you a shit ton of status, and then it also turns the grenades into like these little orbs that just explode on the ground, and then they'll create these hazards that deal continuous damage. What are your thoughts on the Tenet Archiplasmor? I think I put the Tenet Archiplasmor in the top 5 primaries in the game. I wanted to put a Tenet weapon up there, and I felt like that was my favorite. It just does absurd amounts of damage. It's a very, very criminal weapon, so I love that weapon. And yeah, you kind of have to just see how this weapon works. It's so weird. These fucking fire pools, like you spam it doesn't work on walls. There are certain enemies you just can't hit. I don't know how it works on Necromechs. I know potentially you may be able to shoot them in the back, and the fire pool will like stick to them. Shout out Gusbus for following, appreciate it. And then we'll do Bow Incarnon. Oh, nice. Increased combo count chance. I'm not really using it. With armor over 450 is pretty cool, but I'm not using that either. Movement speed is nice. Range is not something I'm taking advantage of. This, I think, am I already at 90? I am already at 90, so I don't need that. That's why I took movement speed. And then this is crit chance, status chance. So just a flat buff. You could do this and probably max out pretty well, but I do like a little bit of crit chance. 30% status chance is so much status, though. Here, let's do a quick test. Should we do a little numbers check? Here, watch this. Because the other one is 30% status chance. This is criminal. What's the number? 99% status with a 76%. Can I do this? Oh, I have a full loadout. Oh my god. Do you see this? I don't have room. I was going to put in double sacrificial. Can I afford it? God, this is a... How would this work? No, I would have to put Galvanized Elementalist over a V. God, that's nuts. But yeah, you could potentially do that and get some big numbers. Can I do this? And then this? No, oh my god. Yeah, 15, bro. Oh my god, what am I doing? But yeah, you should probably put in the crit chance, the double crit chance at that point. But I do 30% status chance is so much status, like especially with basically the same Bongfluence setup. So I guess I could make that. I have a spare Forma. I should probably do that. All right, we'll do it. Fine. I have some spare Forma to throw around, so I'm trying to save at least a little bit of it for the Coda weapons, but you know, I will always be spamming it forever. So we'll do this, and then we're back up to 90. So there you go, chat. Saving myself a little bit, but yeah, 30% status is crazy. Anyway, and then we'll show off Kunai real quick one more time. 200% damage to enemies below half health, of course. Goated, not using this. Magazine capacity to charge faster. Projectile speed is weird because this guy homes in on heads, so potentially will act a little bit differently, but you can also take it. I don't think you're going to struggle too much if you really like it. But yeah, the other thing is, of course, probably mandatory. This is crit chance, status chance. And then, of course, with the whole like homing in on heads and having higher innate multi-shot, it has a base multi-shot of 2. Because obviously you throw 2 daggers, but it costs 1 bullet. Dude, you're rocking blast, you're rocking galvanized shot, you're getting pretty decent status, so you can tap pretty easily. You've been seeing it. I'm gonna spam it more, so we'll play a little bit of Secura Penta, but I really just want to see how Styanax works with Omamori. I want to test it live. It's gonna be fun. What do we get? Ooh, just a classic. Level 200 conjunction. We should take it. This is what it's here for. Oh, I've still got room. I can do... Oh, should I burn it? Wait, let me just look and see. What do I have left? Yeah, V6. I don't have that many of these left. Okay, I can just do it from here. Nice. Okay. We'll just burn some of these and then... Well, we're going to use them. I mean, if you're going to burn them, you're going to use them, chat. I'm gonna start with these vaulted frames. I'm gonna start with these frames that are so old that I never had access to them when they existed, like, to begin with. And they only showed up in, like, unvaultings where I would get them alongside other relics, so... I'm glad. I do enjoy... Part of what I love about the IS system is that it separates the vault completely. Like, you won't get, like... You won't have the relic drop tables changing a lot. Like, you will get a lot more like having like cross farming, like farming one thing is not necessarily going to max out farming the other thing, and you get the idea that like now that they're 2 separate entities, it does mean that like you have to think of them differently, and that will potentially play into it. So you know, I've gotten some comments about that, about like, yeah, I don't like, you know, they preferred it back in the day when a frame would become unvaulted and then you could just get access to them. You get access to their relics in the drop table. So it was a pretty powerful setup back then, but yeah, that's how I end up with Bobbin relics, because I was definitely never here for Bobbin Prime, or at least I think I was never here. I don't think I was. Anyway, let's hit Omamori to start off with, and then we'll do some spears. Ooh, I guess I want to probably do my 3 as well, but I want to hit this for my 3. All right. There's the energy. 10 energy is pretty goated. Yeah, I'm loving these fire pools though. So they will like continuously proc status. Wait, do they continuously proc status? I'm actually not sure. I have been thinking about just putting only fire damage on this, but you know, at its base, I still enjoy the amount of stacks that I can proc. Like, it just has a lot of shit going for it. Like, you can see it's a weird weapon. It's so strange, but I think the Secura Penta has a lot of power, so we need to swap this out. Switch to the Kunai. Get back to basics. Let's hit this. So we'll see just how easy it is to keep the Overguard active. I'm really curious to see how the Overguard works with Omamori. I don't know if the invincibility frames from Omamori even work. We'll kind of have to see. I want to see when it goes on cooldown, if it even triggered. Primary weapon has infinite ammo. Oh, I should take that. I should take that shot. There you go. 12 kills instantly. Woo. Yeah, so far, has Omamori even triggered? Does it just not work on... It might just not trigger on Overguard. Is that what's going on right now? Should I stand still and see what happens? I don't think it's triggering at all. Yeah, my Overguard's going down and it just doesn't... Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, we're going to test it live. We're going to see how good it is. Oh, it doesn't work at all. Okay, yeah. Doesn't trigger Omamori at all, so... that's pretty interesting. So then what would I use? Oh. What would be a good way to maximize the Overguard? Now I'm thinking. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, let me know, chat. Let me know what you guys think. I'm kind of cooking right now. I've got some ideas, but yeah, if that's the answer, that Omamori just doesn't do anything, then I guess that's the answer, chat, unfortunately. I do think I'm totally fine with the blind rage thing. I do enjoy more spears and more overguard per spear. That's pretty good. Clocked in, dude. Yeah, seriously. Say less. We gotta get serious. Like, the infinite ammo, though, that's what you need. Every once in a while, you need to just indulge a little bit. Alright. Get this bitch reloaded. Alright, nice. Don't have my 3 active. That's sick. Not even casting my 4, though. Alright, gaming. Chillin'. What is my cap? It must be pretty high at this point. Come on. 47, 40, 44, 45. I guess that's where we're chilling. But yeah, this is just so easy to get overguard. It's fucking criminal. I do enjoy this. Like, the blind rage at the lower level is something that I have been using a lot more. And I do enjoy, you know, you sacrifice a little bit of strength, but you still get higher, excuse me, you still get higher power strength than transient fortitude. So if you want to keep the duration, because, you know, like your spears, the number of spears scales with duration, then you can do that and use, I don't know if the casting speed even speeds up the javelins. It might. Huh, maybe I'm learning 2 things at once. Maybe I should look into that ability, but it seems like it's doing better. I'm not sure, man, but yeah, what I've noticed is that when I did this, it was pretty easy to start off with, and then all it took was a couple rounds, and then potentially I would get a little bit overwhelmed. So it's sad to see that Omamori just like it does not. But I understand why it doesn't work. That would be pretty OP if it triggered off of Overguard. I feel like that would be a little bit abused. I understand where they're going from, so, or excuse me, I understand where they're coming from, but yeah, a little bit lame. And I know that damage reduction doesn't work on Overguard either, so, you know, now you got me thinking. I might be rocking, I don't know. Huh. What am I thinking? I might rock something like Breach Surge, honestly. That just like pacifies enemies and also increases DPS, because we'll see how it would like proc with the javelins, but that may work pretty well. I'm just looking for something that, you know, reduces my need to be spamming 4 all the time. That's part of my goal, is just like, I do like that the spears proc slash, but I don't think they do a lot of, I don't think for my setup they do a huge amount of damage, so, you know, I do have to keep that in mind. But, you know, I think part of what I want to do more of is get these setups going so that I can show them and kind of rank them properly, because I do think it's important to be able to talk about, like, okay, here's how I play the frame, here's how I'm going to definitely differ from everybody else. So, you know, right now I am kind of looking at how can I make myself take less damage in one form or another, whether that is, you know, because Omamori doesn't work, that's out of the picture, but, you know, there are other ways to, you know, whether you can call it like pacifying enemies or whatever you want to call it, but, you know, there's other ways that you can like CC or, you know, just deal more damage. Like, I am thinking right now about potentially using something like Roar or something like that, just like a nice buff, and then go in a little bit stronger. Like, that's not a bad idea, but I am kind of trying to favor some type of, I want to maximize the longevity of my Overguard, is I guess how I would describe it. I want to be able to increase the power in ways that isn't just like dealing more damage or stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I realized that in certain setups I do enjoy having that as like a, you know, Breach Surge is like, you know, it'll stun enemies, it'll blind them, and then it'll also apply radiation proc, so, you know, you can get potentially extra status effects, but you can maximize it in fun ways. Like, I realized that with Garuda, that, you know, I love taking advantage of the mirror. I like having that other setup, but, you know, it just ends up with all these different ideas. So I wanna be able to like update those builds and show off, like, okay, well, we have a lot of buff builds, we have a lot of different setups, so it's important to like show a variety and be able to talk about a lot of different stuff. So yeah, I will say, like, you know, there will come a point where you will get pretty familiar with a lot of the frames in the game, and I think that's a fun one. Yeah, one for CC. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And you can kind of, I think you just keep it active. But that is very true. I will say, like, you know, the grouping CC, I have been using it less and less. Like I love Ensnare, and Snare has grown to be like my choice for like a Helminth. If you're gonna Helminth on a grouping ability, that's gonna be the one that I use. But I try not to use it on like too many setups. So yeah, that's totally no. And it is a 20-meter grouping ability as well. So it's pretty beast, But yeah, there's a good group. I'm curious to see. I was watching how the Kunai would like home in on their heads and stuff. But yeah, I am targeting these guys specifically. But yeah. Because I think, do rad procs still work if somebody has Overguard? I don't know if that is the case. Like if a corrupted ancient shows up, you know, are you still able to have them fight amongst each other? I mean, I would assume the answer would be no, obviously, because it's like a CC type thing. So, you know, always interesting things to keep in mind. But you can see that like part of my gameplay is I am just targeting. The only thing I'm targeting is corrupted ancients. Like, you don't really need to be targeting anything else, and you know, you end up, yeah, I'm just chilling in a hallway for 675 kills. So I don't have any Overguard. I have not been casting that, but I've not been keeping this active either. So unfortunately, chat. But yeah, I do also enjoy Breach Surge because obviously, like, you can cast Breach Surge into this group of enemies and then hit them with the spears, and it'll send out a bunch of breach sparks all around, and you know, it can maximize your damage also in a different way. So it's fun to have as like a in like your back pocket. I think it's always a fun choice for like different setups, but I don't use it on as many setups as I used to. I think it's a pretty even margin. If I look at the ratio, I do have a lot of different buffs. I've got a lot of different grouping abilities, and then I've got some you know, maybe some outliers, and then you've got the, you know, the Breach Surge here and there and all that different stuff. So, you know, if you looked at my Helminth list, it would be pretty sparse. Like, it's not that many options. I'm pretty normal. Breach Surge also can multiply damage. Counts as self damage. Breach Surge Neja has been taking me to the moon. Oh, that's a great take. Oh, dude, I love that. I stand for that 100%. No, I have been thinking about what I should be putting on Neja, and I do think that Breach Surge is a fantastic take. Anyway, I need to pop a life support. But yeah, no, I love Neja's Divine Spear Augment. I think it's so much fun. You guys know that I also love just like the way that Divine Spears Augment just allows me to just shoot my fucking guns like crazy. And so you know, Breach Surge maximizes your guns in a fun way. It'll maximize the spears in a fun way. So no, that's a fun one. I know people use like Thermal Sunder and stuff like that, and you can like proc a bunch of fire on enemies and it deals a lot of damage. So I've been thinking about trying that as well, like just proccing that. But you know, Breach Surge, you just kind of cast it once, so I do like that. And it is also a pacification. I like that as well, that you can kind of use it just all the time, and it works really well. So shout out Sai, appreciate that. That was sick. Alright, let's nuke these guys a little bit. Easy clap, chillin'. Oh, he's dead as well. Look at this. He's looking incredibly silly, but yeah, we're chilling. We're good. Back to where we were. Excuse me. Did we get distracted? I don't think so. I think we're totally safe. But yeah, I am thinking a little bit about Breach Surge, like something that, you know, maybe will pacify a little bit, but, you know, can also provide some DPS and stuff like that. So you're kind of noticing that, you know, I'm having to shoot the weapon, do the spears, shoot the weapon, do the spears, because the spears aren't exactly nuking everything. You know, I'm more providing on it for the Overguard, and then in that you're just gonna have to keep it active forever, so you are just gonna be spamming it like a motherfucker. So I do enjoy that. I still like getting shot a bunch. You know, you're getting the crit chance from the shields, and then you're also getting the crit chance from Arcane Avenger. So, you know, if you're getting good at doing the weapon, doing the spear, doing the weapon, doing the spear back and forth, then you can max it out. Look at those kunais. Look at those kunais. Dead. Look at that. The kunai. So what's happening is that the Battlist is tucking its head inside its body, and so the kunai can't target it, right? So it spins and it spins and it spins around its body, and then eventually the orbit gets tighter, and then, yep, it just turns into a saw and then saws it right in half. But you can see just how easily you refund the overguard, that it is incentivizing you. You should just be spamming your 4 all the time. So, you know, it's nice to go like back and forth where you can, I think you can do the spears in the air. Like you can cast it while you're airborne and it'll raise you even further up, but it's just very easy to spam. Yeah, you can definitely do it in the air. But I think they removed the thing where you can just like keep it active forever. Like people would just recast it forever and ever and ever, and I think that's what they removed. So it may be a little bit slower, but you know, we're still moving. Top speed, chat. Absolute gaming. We're running at 109, so I mean, I think what I've noticed is that like if I'm effectively killing enemies, then my frame rate is actually a little bit better. So I'm enjoying it. 33,000 overguard, so it's the whole shoot the spears, shoot the gun, shoot the spears. What is my weapon? Oh, it's bow Incarnon. Oh, I don't even realize. Excuse me. We need to bonk a little bit. And then we bonked. There you go, chat. Okay, we need to bonk just a tad. I have 5 times. I don't even have the Incarnon mode active. Alright, let's get it active. Let's do it. Fine. Fine, we'll do it. And then we'll bonk this guy. And then I bonked him. I took him to my penthouse and I bonked it. Oh, it's so much fun, dude. I love this. Did we get melee weapon buff? I don't know. I don't think that's what we got. Alright, chat. This is what you're here for. I see the vision now. I absolutely see the vision. This is what you want to see. Woo. Yeah, I'll go in the bubble. That's totally fine. I can survive that. All right, we'll do this. Oh, it's a classic weapon. One of my faves. You can't go wrong, man. So much fun. So easy to use. I love to bonk. Type of rooms my Baruch and Volt love. Yeah, seriously, dude. Say less. Are we waiting for Baruch with melee influence? I know I am. I already have the Baruch build set up. I'm ready to change that shit. I'm ready to change that shit immediately. And then I don't even know what that's gonna mean. It's gonna proc whatever unique status effect on the enemy, and then it's gonna spread that shit with melee influence. I'm like, it's GG, dude. Obviously, I have Wrathful Advance, but that is a point where I just stay in the exalted, I stay in the exalted ability all the time. You know, we're talking Valkyr. I'm spamming Valkyr claws like way more. I'm actually like dumping my whole energy. And then rocking a little bit better. So I've been really wanting to like spam Valkyr like crazy. I don't know if the energy consumption of Valkyr's claws is active all the time. I'm pretty sure it is active all the time, but that's kind of a reason not to use it, is that it means that if you are at full energy, then you'll waste a bunch of energy orbs. So it's kind of incentivizing you to be at half energy. Like I have an insane energy pool on Valkyr, and it is important, man. So there you go. There's a masterful setup. And yeah, you know, whether you got a shit ton of armor, you got invincibility with Valkyr. There's so many crazy setups. The Exalteds they're gonna eat so good. What does melee influence do? So what melee influence does? So first of all, it's a 20% chance to proc off of an electricity status effect. So you need to have electricity as a separate element on your melee weapon. That's rule number 1. And what it does is that it'll take any status effect on an enemy, or any elemental status effect you deal, and it'll spread it in 18 meters. So if you watch, look on the horizon. Those are all enemies that got hit by melee influence. So I didn't hit them, but the blast damage and the electricity damage spread to all those enemies on the outskirts. So if I bonk a bunch of enemies, the bonk has innate blast damage, and then I'm just adding electricity on top of that. So, you know, the electricity isn't doing an insane amount of damage, but it is doing damage. So you can see you can wipe entire rooms really easily. So it's insanely powerful as just like an easy slot on like an absurd amount of weapons in this game that are like really maximized with it, that you can kind of put it on everything, but I try not to. So his augment would help with that. Yeah. Yeah, and you're just I'm trying to use my 4 a little bit, but yeah, you can see that like. So what I'm using currently is that all heavy slams are all blast damage. So what's going to happen is you have your IPS. Think of your IPS as the same as the blast damage. So when you look at your when you go to the status, so you're in the weapon loadout, right? You look in your arsenal, you look at the melee weapon, okay? You go to the status chance, you hover over it, right? When you have the electricity mods, whatever your total electricity damage is, it'll be the same as the heavy slam. So you think of the heavy slam as 100% of your damage. So, if you have a single 60-60 mod, if you just have Voltaic Strike, then that is 60% electricity damage. So it's going to give you the same weight as if you were looking at the screens, because obviously like it's just going to take all the different status specs, because you're taking the blast and you're just combining all the IPS numbers together, and then that's how much blast you're proccing, because the blast makes up all the damage. So that's a very easy calculation for you to do. It's like you think of blast as the 100%, and then you're going to add on top of that with your electricity. So if you have the special mod, which is called Focus Energy, which is giving you heavy attack efficiency and also giving you electricity damage, now you are at 120% electricity. So you actually are dealing more electricity damage than you're dealing blast damage. So now the weighting would be slightly skewed towards electricity. So if you were to look at the IPS that way, then you would just again combine the IPS, and it's like, okay, that's the total chance for blast damage, and then you're just spreading blast to all these enemies and you're just nuking them instantly. So it's insanely broken, super strong, really easy combo as well, and you can throw it on a bunch of weapons, basically anything, and you just have some weapons I'm swinging the weapon, some weapons I'm bonking. My main rule is that there are weapons that, hammers have the highest heavy slam radius, and then I think it's like, so this is a staff, so it's pretty high. There's also nunchucks and fists and pole arms and heavy blades as well, and sparring weapons. So it's a good list, but it's mostly like anything that is going to have impact damage. Anything that's most likely to deal primarily impact damage is usually going to have a really high heavy slam radius. So I don't think machete does, but that's a weapon that is like a slashing based weapon, so it has generally a lower range. But yeah, like daggers are not going to have a super high radius, but you can see that this is just absurdly broken. Like I'm getting like insane KPM just like running around basically doing nothing. And yeah, the thing that sucks about this mission is that these guys don't really scale that high. Like the level starts at 200, but it kind of just stays there forever. So it's 8:38, so I do think we're just going to keep playing this mission and close it out. So it's unfortunate that Omamori does not work, but what it does mean is that we'll do a little bit of Breach Surge, which is a fun combo. I like using that setup. It'll be a little bit of pacification. I should still get shot enough to proc Arcane Avenger, but I think that might save me. That's an ability that I can keep active forever and spam that pretty easily. So I think that's probably what I'll go with, just to get some. I've enjoyed it. I think it is a very, not necessarily the most maxed out. It's a very common setup, but it's a pretty tactical setup. It can add a lot of value in different ways that are unique to themselves. Like they're different in their own ways, and I think what I enjoy is that in this game you can get a bunch of different setups going with a lot of different power. And you can kind of spread the power across a wide margin and have these different capabilities at your fingertips that, when you combine them together. And I think this will be potentially articulated in the weapon tier list, but I think it's going to be most clear when I do my Warframe tier list. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to do all the weapons first. So we'll cover, you know, the primaries and the secondaries are the easy one. And then I think I'm just going to do a tier list of like, you know, here are the best of the strongest. We'll just do the S tier melee weapons. That's it. So I'll talk about some melee weapons that are just like truly absurdly broken and can have influence and also single target DPS, and you can kind of just stand around and deal a zillion damage. And I think they're a lot of fun. And you know, you could just use Glaive Prime or like Ceramic Dagger Incarnon, but you know, there's a lot of fun setups in this game that you can just kind of maximize really well. Ooh, I felt it. You feel it, chat? I was getting domed a little bit too much, so I am starting to vibe with, you know, getting some other passive survivability that's allowing the spears to do a little bit more for me, because you're seeing I'm getting my overguard popped like crazy, so it's sad. You hate to see it, man. You really do, but you honestly have to press 4 like 7 times in a row and just keep it active forever. So, you know, my boy, my companion has not lost any overguard, so thankfully he will just never die. So I'm glad about that. But I've got a lot of pressing 4 in my future apparently, so I need some good energy economy. So safe so far. I don't think I'm too worried. I feel like a lot of what you're noticing is just like, I don't know, I feel like these missions can become a little repetitive in a sense that you're supposed to get the rhythm down. You know, when you, even in a Void Cascade, which is, yeah, very stressful, but still has a very simple loop, and it's more in the complications that it becomes more difficult. I think that's what I found is like, in the end, what you're really presented with is like, how good are you at killing Thrax, and how effectively can you like run between the different points. Like, there will be a lot of points where they'll spawn in the wrong rooms, and so you have to be able to run around and actually defend all the points properly. And I do feel that in certain regards where, you know, you will get some awful spawns that will dictate the mission more than your skill ever could. That, you know, if the Exilizers are just spawning in awful places, then you're kind of just going to get fucked over from the beginning, and you're going to have to manage that and deal with it as it comes. But hey, maybe Omamori isn't half bad. Maybe Omamori is kind of saving me here. It's giving me some invincibility after my overguard gets cleared. So maybe we get lucky and we get some invincibility. There's the invincibility. I guess it lasted and it's gone. This guy needs to die. Come on, I've put a bunch of kunais on you. Die already. I see them. There you go. You're dead. Okay. Safe. I need to hit this. Woo! Oh, I felt it, man. It really is, man. Like, this is what I noticed. This was the last time. Like, it hit a certain threshold, and I was just getting so much overguard. You know, that was just filling the field with corrupted ancients and shit. That like it became a grind to just like keep the overguard act. You can see I'm at a net negative, and now I'm out of energy. So I'm kind of struggling here, man. And Breach Surge will not help against this. So that is an important thing, is like, this is what I noticed, is there was just a certain margin where, especially when you're playing solo, you just get shot so much that your overguard is just getting cleared like crazy. Like, there will come a point where if you slow down a little bit, you will just get tanked for like a zillion damage, and then you're through. So you got to make sure to keep that third ability active. That's just going to be a shit ton of energy coming in. So obviously things to manage to do it a little bit better, but yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, you're kind of getting blasted, and I don't know how good the overguard is doing, but it is definitely hitting a threshold where I'm starting to struggle a little bit. So that's something that I noticed as well. So, you know, still trying to manage it. Obviously, Omamori is not doing me any favors. Omamori is doing basically nothing, but you know, you can bonk if you need to. I will say it is always available. So if you need to straight up map wipe, that's why I keep these weapons, especially for on stream, because I can just bonk a few times in a row and then I'm already at max power, and then that's kind of all you need. So there you go, chat. You can feel it. If you slow down a little too much, then you can give a little bit of bonk in and survive more like what you're hoping for. But in the end, I'm trying not to necessarily rely on melee influence, but it is always available for that reason, that it is just so effective and offers, I don't know, it's like a level of simplicity and effectiveness that's you just always have access to. Like, I think that's why it has changed the list, and like, I think it deserves all the hate that it gets. It deserves all the praise that it gets. Like, I think you should always talk about it in that regard, that it has changed the list forever. It has changed my list forever, and it will like dictate a lot of the conversation. That I think primarily what a lot of people will do is they'll either use influence to map wipe, or they'll use exposure or something like that to deal a zillion damage and like kill Thrax in a single hit. You know, you have like a Magistar bonk build that can just deal a zillion damage in one hit, so that's pretty important. But yeah, still chilling. You can get some like initial combo going and just get some maximum plays. So, you know, I like the power of what influence offers, that it's an easy slot that you know how to build around. Like, I know how to do a bonk build at this point. I know how to do a you know, a swinging influence build. So there's not really a lot of setups to worry about, but most of them end up being very similar. So yeah, I will say things coming up for everybody that's watching, and appreciate everybody that has been watching to the end. But you know, this week is going to be pretty normal. Just like, I'll do a recap to the dev stream on Friday, so I'll write a bunch of notes, and then we can kind of break down what I was excited for, what I'm planning on changing. You know, I'm planning on showing off some early ideas for like what I want my Exalted Influence build to look like. So I may potentially show off one of those, but yeah, I feel like that's just going to be a little bit more chill. We'll probably just do some dailies. I was thinking I might save like 1999 for that. I'm going to do the Profit Taker off camera. That's super fucking boring. So do appreciate that. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, you guys. I've been really enjoying just kind of showing up and being able to show you guys different builds. And you know, I appreciate everybody that's, you know, asking for builds, because yeah, I can pretty much show you whatever you want and explain my setup, because generally especially with the frames now, I do basically play all of them, so I'm pretty good at talking about all of them. So well, pretty good. I'm very good at talking about it all. I can at least explain my setup for all of them. So I do think that's a nice thing, is like, yeah, you can count on me to be able to like show off whatever I'm playing, and if you're curious about anything, then I can let you know and give you some insights into like how it works and like what the setup is. And you know, you're gonna notice a lot of similarities. Like, I'll always be showing you guys the power of blast damage, especially. You can count on me to be the number one blast stand in the whole world. So yeah, I mean, you'll see it. So next Tuesday will be what's that going to be? Next Tuesday will be the raffle. So we're going to do the community showcase and the raffle. And that is, you know, every month, you know, all you have to do is join the Discord. And then, you know, when you join the Discord for the first time, you'll get entered in to win automatically. But yeah, you can win a Prime Warframe set. So all of these relics are going to you guys. So all I'm ever doing is farming for Prime Warframe sets. And I don't know, I just hate doing public missions, so I don't do these I don't do these Omnias public if I don't have to. But yeah, just in general, I feel like I want to be able to give you guys as much stuff as possible. And then what I plan on doing is going back with some Aya and adding to these lists and hopefully getting some extra setups. So yeah, the basic idea is like, I have a link to the Discord in my profile on TikTok, or like, you know, wherever the links would be, you know, in my setups on YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff. And yeah, join the Discord. You'll get entered in to win automatically. You will win, potentially win Prime Warframe set. You could win a max rank Acolyte Arcane, and then you'll also win 3 random Veiled Ribbons and potentially 4 random Veiled Ribbons. So quite a bit of stuff to win. That's all stuff that I can just freely give away forever, and I will just always collect them. So yeah, it's just like what I do. Just my casual gameplay just allows me to farm all this stuff, and I can give these things away to you guys for free. So it doesn't really take me anything, and I'll always have a surplus, so never super worried about it. But yeah, in the end, like I will also say for future months, so you get entered into it automatically when you join the Discord the first time. But for future months, all you got to do is just join and say hi. Just, you know, you could drop an emoji, just be like, react to somebody and just hit them with an emoji and reply to their thing and just be like, Chad, Giga Chad moment right there. So that's all it really takes, just so I can see you every month and see who's active, because the idea is, like, I've always tried to encourage the people who are active in the Discord and who are active in the community every month. And, you know, eventually, you know, you can become like Strategist and Harsh and Lua, who are, you know, all long-time chatters. Wild Wolf is also an example. They show up every week, or, you know, many times, maybe not many times a week, but they do show up often, and they're, you know, always getting involved. And so, you know, at that point, they're just entered in automatically. They're just grandfathered in for all that time, because I'm always seeing Wild Wolf. Wild Wolf is dropping pictures of a beach, and it's just making me sad, because, yeah, it just recently started raining. And you know when it really starts raining, because, like, the ants show up, like, they all start crawling in, and it's getting to that time, chat. So I'm feeling it. I'm ready for it. But I can handle it as well. I'm not going to freak out, okay? You prepare for it every year. It's the same setup. I mean, I love living around here, but it has its quirks. So, oh, my boy lost all of his overguard? That's crazy. How does that even happen? My boy is both me and my companion in this regard, so doing pretty well. But yeah, we should have, I think this is going to be the last round, and then we'll get up out of here. But, you know, do I think Obawari is useless? Mostly. So I think I will swap it. But yeah, I'm feeling using a little bit of Breach Surge to potentially just hopefully pacify a few enemies, but also just mostly spam it alongside my 4, so I can do a combo ability and do like Breach Surge into 4 and just be able to keep all that stuff active. Oh, it's just Misery. Oh, this is a joke. Spam this, activate this. Oh, he's gonna summon Shadow of Violence, isn't he? Yep, there's Shadow of Violence. He's cooked. They're all cooked. They're all dead. Okay. I need to hit my shit. I need to hit this. Hey, I'll try and use it. We'll see if we can make it work. Maybe I need to bonk a little bit. Is it time to bonk? It's time to bonk. Yeah, I feel it. It's necessary, man. It comes around every once in a while. You get this feeling. I need to hit some life support. I'll hit this guy. 7% chat. I live on the edge. Straight up highway to the danger zone. I won't sing it, but you can imagine it in your head. But woo, good stream. Welcome back to me. You know, I took a little bit of a long vacation. I didn't stream on Friday. I was planning, I should tell you guys, I was planning on doing a Hades 2 stream, but I just was not good enough. I did not have enough practice, and now chat, I do have enough practice. Now I am chilling. It's a little bit crazy how strong of the setups I've been getting, but yeah, I am so excited. I want to get some more Nightmare, but honestly, I've been just focusing on doing mostly overworld stuff, so I haven't really thought about doing higher levels of like the Testament of Night or whatever it's called, you know, the Pact of Punishment equivalent. But yeah, you've got Hades 2 in your future. I don't know, it might be far in the future, but it is coming. It is in the future. So get hyped for that. As you guys know, I try to show off some other stuff, and you know, once a week usually is all I'll do an extra game, and also potentially if I'm with my friends, then you'll see me playing some other games. So you know, there are certain moments where you will see something other than Warframe, but for the most part, it will be a lot of Warframe content for you guys. And what I try to tell everybody is like, hey, if I'm playing a game that isn't Warframe, it's because I like it because it's similar to Warframe, that it's very arcadey and it's very easy to play, and it is mostly just like, it's just super solid combat that you never forget. Like, I think part of what I enjoy is that something that's kind of arcadey is like pick up and play, where you can forget it for a while and then return to it and then get the groove again and then get very good at it all over again. So they're just so much fun. Shout out Murph for sharing the live. I think I missed that. It was a while ago. But, yeah, I appreciate it, everybody. I mean, that's what I'll love about doing Omnias, is that it is such a it's such an arcade mode where you get the random rolls of like, okay, these are the these are the missions that I get. You can just do them forever. You'll get a bunch of resources. You'll get some steel essence. You get some really good steel essence. Actually, it is nice. Like, I farm up a bunch of steel essence. I farm up a bunch of steel essence now all the time, doing whatever I'm doing, and that's something that I try to always be doing, is try to always be hunting acolytes in whatever mission you're doing. And so sometimes I don't do the 1999 bounties because I'm actually trying to farm acolytes in the normal missions. And I don't know if now the acolytes will spawn in the bounties, but at least for the last time I played, I didn't see a lot of them spawning. But yeah, chat, is Incarnon super brokenly OP? Yeah. Is this like the silliest thing you've ever seen? Yeah, I think so. So pretty fun setup, but yeah, that's a quick little review of like the Vesper 77. At the beginning, obviously, if you're curious, I did a Vesper 77 review at the beginning, but yeah, I think you can kind of see that these weapons need to have a certain level of usability and spammability for me to just swap them in and out and use them interchangeably. And obviously there are going to be stronger choices and there are going to be weaker choices, but you know, I do just really enjoy being able to show you guys a lot of weapons. Like, if you want me to be known for anything, if I want you to know me for anything, it's, you know, you're going to see a bunch of crazy weapons. You're going to see a bunch of weird Warframe setups, but in the end, I may essentially choose them at random, but it doesn't matter because they all have their own built-in synergies where potentially I may not be choosing the least used, but I may be using, you know, the second least used or whatever. You can think of it almost like a mini Elite Archimedia where you'll have a choice of maybe 1 to 3 weapons. Most of the time you only need that first weapon, but sometimes you need to branch out to your second or third choice. And that's purely because your Warframe is more maxed out with X or Y weapon or whatever you want to say. So, you know, if I'm using a frame that has Zada's Whisper, then I'm going to be using a weapon that has blast damage, so that when the blast deals that AoE, then it's going to deal Zada's Whisper again. So super powerful, super strong. But yeah, a lot of similarities and a lot of things that are going to be common between Warframes, and that, you know, when I talk about swapping to Breach Surge, it's like, yeah, I have Breach Surge on a lot of setups. I use it for similar reasons. That, yeah, it's not the hugest CC ability in the game, but it's pretty nice and it's good to have. And you know, it's not the biggest DPS in the world, but it's pretty nice and it's got some value. So, you know, it's a lot of talk more for me about like usability and simplicity. And you know, when I'm talking about simplicity for Styanax, I'm talking about maximizing how long your Overguard is active, like trying to benefit as much as you can from Overguard. Sorry, I had to clout check you guys in terms of resources real quick, but yeah. Oh, nope, feed. Okay. All right, chat. But yeah, that's all I got for you. I kind of talked about what's coming up on the channel, so you'll see a dev stream recap on Friday. Next Tuesday will be the raffle. I won't be live on Monday, or it may be one or the other. So maybe I'm not live Monday, maybe I'm not, but whatever. I have to move my grandma into a care facility. So yeah, so I mean, you'll get more content, and then I think the week after that, you guys will see the primary tier list. So you'll see the S tier primary tier list, and that'll be going over the strongest 20 primaries in the game, and then I'll do a second tier list for the next strongest. So we'll do S tier, and then we'll do A tier, which is like some more fun weapons that I can show off, and I want to show a bit more of a variety. I've been wanting to change it out and show off a little bit better of a variety, but yeah, I still think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's all I got for you. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Oh yeah, we're good. that's just OBS. Yeah, that's all I got for you. Have a good night. I'm out of here.